Welcome to the beautiful historic Hotel del Coronado, where you'll enjoy the Del's extraordinary history and make unforgettable memories to last a lifetime. The Del's 133-year history is detailed in this video documentary. Take a look at what the Del looked like as it was being built in 1887. Black and white photos show so much detail from the hotel's early days, like the iconic front porch and lobby. Watch as both areas are being restored in 2021. Also, for the first time in the Del's history, the entire 28-acre property is being upgraded and restored all at the same time. It's part of the master plan that began in 2018, and so much has already been completed. See the Del's before and after transformation, and find out how the industrial buildings, or Wagers Row, played a big part in the Del's construction and early day-to-day operations. You'll see the major upgrades and historic preservation work that's been done. Finally, learn about the resort's final new real estate offering, Shore House at the Del. Coronado, California is unrecognizable in the late 19th century from the Coronado of today. During San Diego's mid-1800s land boom, the flat land that isn't actually an island but a peninsula became an investment opportunity, making way for the beautiful seaside Queen Anne Victorian style Hotel del Coronado, or the Del as it is fondly called.
San Diego really experienced a huge surge of construction during 1885 when the Transcontinental Railroad came to San Diego. With that, our population swelled from a couple of thousand to over 40,000 people. And so with that came a lot of people looking for opportunities.
Building on those opportunities are Elisha Babcock Jr. and Hampton L. Story, who immediately see Coronado's potential. They purchased the 4,185-acre property for a mere $110,000 in 1885. Babcock and Story soon retain architects and brothers James and Watson Reed to design their grand wooden hotel. Hundreds of workers are immediately hired to carry out the hotel's construction.
Babcock and Story, their vision was to create something that would be the talk of the Western world. And so they had very grand visions from the very beginning. The Reed brothers did an initial sketch of the property, and it was meant to be huge. It was meant to have well over 400 guest rooms.
Due to a lack of local wood, lumber is floated down from San Francisco to San Diego in large rafts. Just about everything is manufactured on site, including the red bricks, ironwork, and ornamental flourishes. The moderate San Diego climate and the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad quickly attract wealthy East Coast families who are eager to escape the cold winters.
By 1888, the railroad came around San Diego Bay and up the Strand right to the Del. So you literally could take your own private rail car from back east all the way across the country. It would take about 5 days, and bring it straight to the Del. And park your rail car, they would unload their trunks and luggage.
Victorians loved their gardens to take a stroll or to socialize. The Del was designed around an open court nearly 1 acre in size. It was planted by Kate Sessions, a prominent San Diego horticulturist. Sessions chose tropical plants, flowers, and 2 royal palms. Today, bougainvillea, dwarf palm, and birds of paradise still thrive in the garden patio area. By 1890, the hotel is sold to sugar tycoon John D. Spreckles, who will later attract new hotel guests by creating Tent City in 1900.
He took the land south of the Del, which was not being very well utilized, and he put these tents on the Strand. It was meant to be seasonal, it was meant to be very temporary housing, and he called it Camp Coronado originally. And this was to attract people from Arizona, from Nevada, New Mexico, from dry, hot climates, get them over to the beach.
In November of 1892, tragedy strikes the Del when a guest checks in alone and ends her life on one of the exterior staircases. She's identified as 24-year-old Kate Morgan. To this day, hotel guests and employees continue to report ghostly encounters, particularly in what is now known as the Cape Morgan Room. Designated a National Historic Landmark in 1977, the Del is a living legend and celebrates its rich history as the proud host to royalty, beach-loving guests, and celebrities.
Lauren Bacall, Betty Davis, Humphrey Bogart, Errol Flynn, Clark Gable, are some of the old movie stars that have been here, Lotta Turner. In more recent, and back in the 50s, their press agents, of course, would let us know they were coming. So there were staged photos.
Since the early 1900s, movie stars and movie makers have been frequenting the Del. It has been a sought-after set for filmmakers as well as a popular vacation getaway for celebrities. From men of industry to sports figures to famed authors, 11 U.S. presidents, and who can forget the 1959 comedy classic Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe. From the start, the Hotel del Coronado is built to be a world-renowned seaside resort. The Del's guest registers are a veritable who's who of society for over a century.
One of Alicia Babcock's dream was to create something that would live on beyond him, that would carry on forever. And actually at that time period, that was a pretty lofty goal because that just didn't happen. A lot of Victorian resorts burned.
So much care has been taken in preserving the Del through the decades. It is still the premier resort the Founding Fathers envisioned 133 years ago, and families are still making long-lasting memories at the beautiful Queen Anne Victorian-style hotel. The Hotel del Coronado was built to be grand and built to last. The turret, front porch, and lobby have always been the hotel's iconic focal points. Black and white photos show excellent details of the hotel in the early days. Because the hotel's front porch and lobby had seen dramatic redesigns through the decades, both are undergoing a significant restoration to bring back the historical elements that have been lost. It's all part of the master plan. The restoration work is already transforming the beautiful seaside hotel in mid-2021.
But our team has been working really hard on the lobby and the front porch, and we're confident that when it's all done, it's going to bring the Del back to its previous glory.
The front porch had many original elements that had been lost, including 2 sets of entry stairs as seen in historic photos. Because the porch had undergone numerous changes, the layers are being removed to expose the original veranda. The before and during construction images are dramatic, as the porch has been completely stripped to the studs. It was reinforced with metal columns, and many of the historical elements that had been missing from the porch will be brought back.
Everything that we've been able to document is going to be coming back. So for instance, these columns, which have these beautiful wraps and details on them, are going to be reassembled. We're going to be recreating the little archways between here and the lobby.
Historic photos also show many of the details of what the lobby once looked like in the 1880s. In fact, photos play a critical role in identifying and preserving the hotel's historic features. They also show incredible details of the hotel's original billiard room and the women's lounge. During its early years, this area will now be the lobby's front desk. The lobby's restoration is a meticulous process, and the goal is to retain and bring back as many historical elements as possible.
There's some great photographs that show the original woodwork. There used to be a fireplace, the pool tables, the light fixtures. We're not going to be able to bring all that back because the use has changed, but we're keeping everything that's historic, and we're bringing back some stained glass windows along the front veranda here.
So there'll be a lot more natural sunlight in the lobby than was there originally. The flooring was originally tile, but we were afraid that would be too loud, and so we're going with a wood parquetry floor.
In summer 2020, crews carefully labeled and removed the original wood coffered ceiling near the hotel's front desk area. The wood was stripped and restained, and the ceiling will be brought back and reinstalled in its original location to look like it did in 1888. Out of the 19 original stained glass windows at the Dell, only 3 small windows and the large and beautiful Coronation Window survive. The Coronation Window was on the 4th floor for decades, but it was originally installed on the 2nd floor. The Coronation Window is now being restored and preserved. The rest of the Dell stained glass windows were lost, but replicas are being created and they will be installed in their original places along the veranda. Heading to the 2nd floor, it is easy to appreciate the lobby's grandeur.
This entire ceiling is oak. It's the original oak from 1888, and it all needed to be cleaned and then refinished with new stain and shellac. And it's really spectacular. The closer you get to it, the more you appreciate the beauty of it.
Workers spent months carefully removing the dark stain in the entire lobby and mezzanine. The work was arduous, but you can now appreciate the wood's beauty. The new stain complements the original white oak. It also highlights the exquisite woodwork and architectural design. Still on the 2nd floor, demolition workers made an incredible discovery in one of the guest rooms.
We just came off of the mezzanine above the lobby, and we're now on the 2nd floor. And there used to be open balconies in this location.
Right here.
And in fact, behind us, you can see the original old shiplap siding. That's 1888 woodwork right there.
It's always exciting when new discoveries are made. Take a look at the original wood and paint from when the hotel was built. Incredibly, the balcony was concealed when the guest room was expanded. Both the balcony and the guest room will be transformed back to their historic Victorian design.
This was a really great discovery that was made during demolition, is that all of these columns and that grill work behind us are original, and we didn't think they were here anymore because they were hidden under new finishes. And so we're going to be able to reuse all these as part of the restoration.
This historic photo shows what the balcony once looked like. You can clearly see the columns, windows, and balcony railing features. This is extremely useful because it will help bring back many of the balcony's original elements. The Dell's historic front porch, lobby, and Victorian guest rooms will look as they did when the beautiful seaside Victorian Hotel del Coronado first opened 133 years ago. The Dell's renovated lobby and front porch is set to reopen in summer 2021. It's delicate work as crews carefully removed the Dell's beautiful Coronation stained glass window so it can be repaired. The 6 by 5 foot window was in fragile condition and it needed to be restored. Out of the 19 stained glass windows at the Dell, only 4 survived, including the Coronation Window. The rest were lost over the years.
Well, we're floating above the Hotel del Coronado's front entry. We're about 4 stories up. Where we have one of the remaining original historic stained glass windows.
The stained glass was removed from the building. It's going to be restored and preserved for generations to come. When it gets put back, it's going to get put back into its original location on the 2nd floor.
The window is beautiful, unique, and the only of its kind left in the world. Historic photos show the window's original location on the 2nd floor near the fireplace. It was moved multiple times and the window ended up on the 4th floor during the 1960s. Because the window had been in a box and exposed to the elements, it desperately needed to be restored.
They're doing a meticulous restoration. She was actually collapsing under her own weight. The glass was starting to buckle, so it needed to be done. So we've taken it out. She's being restored.
Stained glass windows use lead. And so lead is soft and is not very resistant to heat. So it was in a bit of a hot box on this facade here for many years, and it sagged a little bit. There were some cracks. It's not in the best shape right now. It's not only is it old, but it's been exposed to the environment for a while.
James Reed, one of the Dell's architects, came up with the Coronation Window design. He commissioned a Chicago-based company to create the window for $600. The window has a special connection to Coronado.
The original concept for the window was an allegorical story, a representation of Coronado, the new city, the young girl. You can't see it now, but she's lowering a crown onto her head. Of course, we're in the Crown City here.
The Coronation and the 3 other stained glass windows that survived are very important, as they were used to produce a color scheme to create the stained glass window replicas for the front porch. Black and white photos were used to find out where the windows were originally installed. It is critical to do all of the research work and identify the hotel's historical elements.
Primarily it's pulling photos, looking for any interior shot of specific elements, whether it's the Coronation window, there was a second stained glass window underneath that, pulling as much detailed photos that I can.
Oh, it's critically important. The fact that it survived is really great.
After the window was carefully removed, it was hoisted 4 stories down and transported to Barra Stained Glass Studios in North County, where it will be carefully dismantled, documented, and reassembled to preserve its future. The restoration will be completed in summer 2021. The historic industrial buildings at the Hotel del Coronado play such an important role in the hotel's construction and later in the hotel's early day-to-day operations. Historic photos show what the industrial buildings look like in the early years. The buildings date back to early 1887 and others to 1910. The restoration and improvements to the 28-acre property are part of the $400 million master plan.
So we've made so much progress in the 2 years, and we're right at the midway point now of this really master plan, transformation, reimagination of the Dell. We've accomplished some great milestones.
Well, there was a pretty intensive master plan process in order to evaluate all the existing buildings and basically assess which ones were important to the history of the building and which ones were less so.
The industrial buildings include the power plant, the tunnel, the smokestack, the ice house, the laundry building, and the historic Oxford Hotel. The power plant was originally built to provide electricity to the hotel and to all of Coronado Island in 1887. This is what the power plant looked like before the master plan in 2018. The entire building was showing substantial wear and tear, and it was in need of significant repairs.
Yeah, all of the historical artifacts of the power plant were retained. Not only the heavy timber structure, but this is the main kind of electrical panel board that was here. You could see the original marble that was used. This is from the original period.
Areas of the power plant have now been reconfigured and seismically reinforced. The historic features have been restored, leaving many of the original beams and brick exposed.
It's wonderful to see the original wood. They didn't sand it, repaint it, make it pretty. They left it as natural as can be and worked around it, and I think it's a beautiful juxtaposition of the past and present.
The interior west side entrance also looked quite different before the master plan, but now the power plant's foyer looks remarkable. A crown chandelier that dates back to the early 1900s has been restored and is now the main centerpiece. It was designed by famed Wizard of Oz author L. Frank Baum, who also wrote several books in the Oz series during his annual winter visits to the Dell.
You can see the windows that were restored, and this was a former lower window that was here before the ice house was built.
Near the power plant's entrance, demolition crews made an incredible discovery when they found a fireplace concealed behind a wall. This is what the fireplace looks like now. The brick and mortar have been restored.
Just on the other side of this archway is a fireplace that actually was discovered during the demolition and restoration process, so that was retained.
Few know, but the power plant and the hotel connect through this historic tunnel. The tunnel's entrance looked quite different before the restoration. This is what it looks like with the upgrades. Near the tunnel, there's a historic feature that has been retained and restored.
Well, this is one of the original features that we wanted to protect as part of the project, and it's an old fire door. It's, you can see, it's an overhead supported fire door. There were several of these throughout the building, and it's got great character and charm to it.
Upstairs, the mezzanine was completely upgraded and restored. The original wooden beams were left untouched. The brick and mortar were also repaired. Outside, the original plaster has been restored, and this is what the power plant looks like after its restoration in 2020. On the power plant's south side wall, most of the windows were damaged or lost, and many have been permanently sealed.
Pretty much all the windows you see here are recreated because the original ones were either missing or damaged beyond repair. And then the brick itself, the front of the building, which is the other facades, has a plaster finish to make it look like blocks of stone.
The bricks here in the power plant, there was talk at one time of leaving the brick exposed, but the brick was actually plastered over very early in the Dell's history. When it opened in 1888, it was the natural brick, but within 2 years it was plastered over.
Next door is the Ice House, built in 1889. Black and white photos show what it looked like in the early years. The Ice House supplied ice to the hotel and to Coronado residents until 1909. This is what the Ice House looked like before the master plan in 2018. It was in need of significant repairs and it needed to be restored.
That's one of the most exciting aspects of the master plan to me, is the restoration of the Ice House. It was built in 1889. It was added onto the power plant, and it was built to accommodate a new 10-ton ice machine.
This is what the Ice House looked like as the improvements were being made, as it was being repaired and painted. The original brick and mortar had to be restored, and this is what it looks like now. Many of the original items, like the brick, have been refurbished and preserved. The Ice House looks incredible. Outside, there was the 2-story wooden ice storage building. It had undergone numerous changes. Because the building did not have historic value, it was removed and a courtyard was created in the space with reclaimed bricks. The Ice House will now allow guests to take a walk down memory lane and learn about the Dell's extraordinary history.
But its new incarnation is more exciting to me. It's going to become a museum for the hotel. And so here we'll tell the story for the first time, really, of the industrial area and what was built here to support the operations of the hotel.
Nearby is the laundry building that opened in 1919. Historic photos show so much detail, including the original red brick. It provided laundry services to the hotel, its guests, and to Coronado residents for nearly a century until 2018. This is what the laundry building looked like before the master plan. The building was in need of significant repairs, and the original elements needed to be restored.
And there were also holes that were created, and there was some damage, cracks, and then the mortar was in poor condition. So all of that was reworked. In addition, there was some new steel framing that was added to the interior of this building, as well as the power plant, to make them more seismically safe.
Take a look at the remarkable restoration. The laundry building looks stunning. The building was completed in 2020, and it was converted into administrative space for the hotel, with plans for a future guest use.
And so they meticulously used wire brushes and removed the paint. It was one brick at a time. And so it was a long, tedious process, but a wonderful result and preservation of the brick.
All the beautiful exposed structure, the wood trusses, the skylights or clear stories to bring in all that daylight, and then the old conveying system for the laundry equipment is in the back corner there, all that red metal. That's all original.
Most of the original transom windows in the laundry building were beyond repair. That's why replicas were created. Windows that could be saved were restored and reinstalled. The front space has been beautifully refurbished, and it now functions as conference rooms. During the laundry building's restoration, workers discovered several signs, including one that shows the laundry schedule board. Another, the Hotel del Coronado laundry sign, was found behind a wall in the ice house, and it dates to about 1935. Outside, between the laundry building and the ice house, there were numerous older buildings that had multiple uses but not significant historic value, and they were removed.
This was all a patchwork of buildings, and a lot of the windows that you see had been walled over, bricked in or covered in concrete block.
The back wall of the power plant was in desperate need of repairs.
This is the east wall of the power plant, and as you recall, there was a lot of brick damage that was back here. This is where there were voids in the brick and the mortar was deteriorating. So this has all been restored. This is a new opening to provide access.
Just a few feet away is the historic 100-foot smokestack. Black and white photos initially showed two original chimneys, but they were both lost. The current smokestack was built to furnish steam for the electric works and the ice house in May 1892. While it hasn't been in use for decades, it was retrofitted several years before the master plan. Right next door is the carpentry building.
There was a carpentry shop, which was not one of the original buildings, but it had been here and it was used, back of house space for painters, and it was removed as part of the master plan.
The carpentry building was in use since around 1910. While it held more than a century of history, it did not have significant historic value, but the building's wood was preserved and reused. This is what the area looks like now. The area was cleared, redesigned, and upgraded. The space now provides better access to the historic laundry, power plant, and ice house museum. At the south end of the property is the historic Oxford Hotel. The Oxford has incredible historical significance because it was the first hotel built in Coronado in July 1887. In fact, the Oxford and the Dell have a strong connection. Workers lived at the Oxford while building the Dell in 1887. The Oxford has had numerous uses. It was moved multiple times, and at one point it was in danger of being lost. But the Dell purchased it and relocated it to the hotel's property in 1983. The Oxford is now undergoing a major makeover.
It's being restored primarily, the exterior is being restored. We're bringing back the original colors. And then we're also reworking the interior to make it a little more efficient. It will still be used as offices, but it's very much a historic hotel, just like the main Dell building is.
The Oxford Hotel already looks quite different, with the exterior and interior renovations taking shape. The renovation will preserve the hotel's historic features and bring back some of the original elements. The Oxford will be completed in 2021.
Our main entrance is really a unique part of our arrival experience, elevated arrival experience that we're going to have for our customers. You're going to have a long driveway. You're coming up, and our customers are going to be blown away with the grandeur of the historic Victorian building.
Already, so much of the master plan is completed. When guests arrive at the beautiful Hotel del Coronado, they will enjoy many of the historic elements from the newly restored industrial buildings to the newly improved porte cochere and the stunning restored front porch. The historic Hotel del Coronado has been undergoing a significant renovation and historic preservation since 2018. Already, the renovations have reached a major milestone. This is the first time in the hotel's history the entire property is being restored and upgraded at the same time. So much of the construction that was underway during early to mid-2020 is now completed. Hotel General Manager Harold Raposa tells us about the progress.
The master plan is well underway, and we just completed phase 2 of the construction, which included the reopening of our Cabana neighborhood, which includes 97 guest rooms. 31 of these guest rooms have dedicated fire pits.
This is what the Cabanas neighborhood looked like as workers put the finishing touches to the outdoor terraces and guest rooms. Take a look at the completed Cabanas neighborhood as they have been improved and transformed. The guest rooms now feature the beautiful outdoor fire pits, and guests can enjoy the dramatic ocean views. The former Ocean Towers building, which has been renamed The Views, has been under construction since 2020. The exterior and interior are being completely upgraded and renovated. These rooms are situated close to the beach and activity rentals, and offer stunning panoramic ocean views from near invisible glass balconies. The interior will feature an elegant coastal design and modern style. Already, so many of the upgrades are nearing their completion in summer 2021. That same attention to detail also went into the redesign of the sun deck. Workers installed new floor tiles, created a rooftop bar, kitchen, and other key features. The redesigned sun deck is now completed, and this is what it looks like now. It now serves as a spacious and beautiful rooftop social hub for guests to enjoy the ocean views. The property looks stunning.
One of the big parts of the Sun Deck rooftop restaurant is the kitchen, the addition of the kitchen. We made it larger so we have more firepower, bigger menu, we can serve lunch and dinner.
The hotel's pool and the pool deck also underwent major improvements. Every detail in the pool was carefully redesigned as crews completed it in summer 2020. The enhancements have dramatically transformed the pool. The area is serene and inviting as guests can enjoy a swim or just relax by the pool. The iconic turret is one of the Del's most significant architectural features. Crews worked for months to install a new roof. It was completed in summer 2020. The before and after images are extraordinary. The turret now has a new roof. Nearby is the outdoor, beautiful, and elegant seat-to-table restaurant, Soraya. It too underwent significant upgrades. Soraya was completely improved, and guests can now choose between indoor and outdoor dining areas and enjoy the beautiful sunset. The hotel's original Babcock and Story bar, named for the Del's visionary founders, Elijah Babcock and Hampton Story. The original bar was in need of repairs, and it also needed to be restored. Crews carefully dismantled the bar, removed the old finish, and restained it to match the original wood. A special historic element that was missing for years was restored and installed.
We brought back the cupola that was removed for many years. It was in storage, and we were able to restore that and put it back to its original location.
Nearby, Eno Market and Pizzeria was stripped to the studs. It was redesigned and it underwent significant improvements. It has been reimagined and completely transformed, and now offers guests and hotel visitors a large selection of dining choices.
We added a larger gourmet Italian marketplace, combined it with the Eno Pizza restaurant, so our customers have a more elaborate offerings for breakfast sandwiches and sandwiches for lunch, and then we have table service in our Eno Pizza as well as takeout.
The fitness center was also completely transformed. It was reconfigured and expanded to offer hotel guests a spacious area with more workout choices. It now includes state-of-the-art exercise equipment. You can see the fitness center's dramatic changes. Nearby, the spa also received significant improvements, and the salon was also transformed. It now features beautiful and soothing decor with hints of Marilyn Monroe photos, which add a perfect touch for guests to experience. It was completed and opened in summer 2020. It's incredible to see the progress at the Hotel del Coronado 2 years into the master plan. The hotel's south end has been completely transformed since 2018. The old asphalt parking lot has been removed, and the project is well underway for the new event space and the new guest neighborhood. Hotel del Coronado General Manager Harold Raposa describes the changes.
So the South Point Ballroom will be the Del's largest meeting space at 15,000 square feet. It will be divisible in 8 different breakouts so we can accommodate multiple groups. We'll have state-of-the-art technology where we're going to reproduce and reimagine how events are produced. It also has 10,000 square feet of breakout space and a banquet kitchen that we can service food and beverage.
The newest neighborhood at the Hotel del Coronado, Shore House at the Del, is the legendary resort's final new real estate offering, located on its last parcel of developable land. A truly special milestone in the history of an icon, Shore House presents a golden opportunity to own a preserved piece of Hotel del Coronado's fabled past and weave your own story into its inspired future. Scheduled for completion in 2022, Shore House will present a distinctively new experience at America's most storied seaside hotel, with 75 1-, 2-, and 3-bedroom, fully furnished, limited-term use occupancy residences, and its own ocean view pool with private cabanas, an open-air poolside bar, casual indoor-outdoor lounge, and bistro. It will also feature dedicated check-in, valet, and complimentary parking. Sited on a golden stretch of sand at the southernmost point of Hotel del Coronado, Shore House presents the final piece of the hotel's $400 million master plan.
So we've made a lot of progress over the last 2 years, and we're really looking forward to accomplishing this master plan and reimagination of the Hotel del Coronado. We're at the midway point right now. We've accomplished a couple of great milestones. We have a couple of more to go, and we're looking forward to completing those in 2022.
The iconic Hotel del Coronado founders wanted to create a resort that would be the talk of the Western world. Today, the Del is an American treasure as it blends its legendary past with the present and the future, creating memories for every generation.